Well, I got something interesting from you, or for you. Everybody was loading up my email box. Jay Snip, man, I think it's a website hit. It's a website hit. And I keep seeing the same story. San Francisco CBS local news. And a little interesting thing from a couple of previous Webbot reports. First and foremost, let's read the news article. And then I'm going to read you what is in the Webbot reports. Storm runoff in California gold country exposing new mother lode. Jamestown, Tulum County. Weeks of rainy weather across Northern California and the storm runoff through the hills of gold country have triggered a new gold rush. Keep in mind some of these keywords I'm using that are in this article. Miner Gary Thomas said he always finds at least a little gold here on his property near Jamestown, but this year there's so much more runoff than normal, and it's shaking the gold from these hills. Thomas said it could provide a eureka moment for those inclined to come up here and look for it. The runoff kind of etch-a-sketches everything, he said. Everything I had dug up, and now my dig spots are all gone. The known gold digs were washed out, trees uprooted, and landscape eroded. The runoffs have also moved gold out of the old abandoned mines and sent it downriver. It's going to bring down more gold, he said. It's going to bring up new areas that I never got to. And this Thomas guy runs tour groups through his property and says now it is optimum time for gold hunting because the storms have just finished churning the landscape. Officials from the Bureau of Land Management say that erosion concentrates the gold by removing the lighter rock and soil. You may be wondering if this reporter found anything during our time here. We did find some fine flakes of what they call flower gold, and it was found more quickly than normal in just a couple of panning sessions. Eureka, said Thomas. That's hard to do, but not as hard this year now that Mother Nature has shaken up the mother lode. Thomas said one hot spot this year will be below the Oroville Dam because the huge water releases from the spillway could reveal some new pockets of gold. I remember there was also an article from beforeitsnews.com, and they were talking about how the spillway was actually like a sluice box, all this crap, whatever. But all of a sudden, this language of a new gold rush is coming out on the internet. And it's specifically tied to California. So, new gold rush, etc., California. Here's an article. This article was published February 27th, 2017. I am about to read you Webbot reports, one from January 2017, so last month, but also one from October 2016. Starting with January, yet more crash buyers and real estate problems show up for California more than the rest of the West Coast. These California sets have very large repercussions for the Golden State, both immediately and later, as the next California gold rush starts to move the population into new directions. Yet more data for woo-woos shows up in both the real estate crashing as well as the gold rush, as new discoveries in old dirt are forecast as exciting woo-woo aficionados as ancient pharaohic Egyptian artifacts become embroiled in local California. Stand by. Someone's calling the old phone. Stand by. All right. Sorry about that. More data for woo-woo shows up both in the real estate crashing as well as the gold rush, as new discoveries in old dirt are forecasting as exciting woo-woo aficionados as ancient pharaohic Egyptian artifacts become embroiled in local California politics and fights over water. The sets around the ancient pharaohic Egyptian artifacts may be referencing new understanding or new facts information that may be coming out of California. There are some subsets about the artifacts and their discovery, but not enough in this processing to say that it is the artifacts that will surface as opposed to the information. So that's interesting to me because How many videos have I done very recently with proof the real estate markets are going down the tube, or down the tubes? And we have this news story right after this dam, the overspill thing, the spillway in Oroville, which flooded the area, again, cut out lots of land, could have exposed some gold, etc. Now people are talking about it. Now there's a news article saying there's a new gold rush. And it says it right there. The next California gold rush starts to move the population in new directions, yet more data for woo-woos show up in the real estate crashing, as well as the gold rush as new discoveries in old dirt. Come on. I mean, this is just insane. Another paragraph. In spite of, or perhaps because of, recent events along the lines of banning cash and making paper bills worthless, the data sets around gold and silver have the mining businesses going into 2017 beaten down, but ready to bust out as the conditions improve. Other new supporting sets for mining businesses, especially in North America, are piling up around the idea of intense competition. These sets have the previously forecast gold fever among the population, as also prompting prospecting and mining primarily for gold across the continent. Without regard to no gold ever been found here, the data sets have the gold fever running so hot in the population globally that many new forms of gold mining are going to be taking place, which I just heard also in Kenya, a massive gold stash, or not stash, but gold ore, whatever, been found, 1,000,000 and something ounces, they believe. Some of the instances within the detail sets are referencing mining for gold in computer circuits, even if not necessarily owned by you or a waste machine. Other sets have people combing culverts and hauling water for great distances in order to sample pan dry streams. Other sets have sand thefts taking place as people will try gold panning in giant piles of roadway sand and other sand dumps. Oh, you mean like massive amounts of dirt and sand being washed down from the Oroville incident? That would fit it to me, and that's what I'm hearing people are trying to do right now. The markets entity is also forecasting that whole buildings and road surfaces that had been old ore mills or metal refineries will be acid stripped to obtain gold that is fused into bricks or cement. Haven't seen anything about that yet. These linguistic sets accumulate slowly over 2017 while building both depth and breadth of the size such that by early 2018, the data sets would have gold fever be a locally discussed item all across the northern hemisphere. It would seem that such extreme efforts would have to be reflective of extremes in supply shortages as well as prices. The markets entity has large numbers of crosslinks that are linking to gold fever with the currencies crisis and suggesting that the paper currencies prices of gold and silver will reach astonishing levels that will emotionally scar whole generations. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Hurry up with that one. October 2016 report. USA gold rush coming. We have had repeated sets arriving over the years that have forecast an emerging new gold rush in the global pop entity with a corresponding subset also within the USA pop. The data sets in the past have described various elements of the new gold rush, such as the vacuum brigades that will be sweeping publicly accessible culverts for gold dust accumulated in drainage runoff. There are also descriptions of gold fever taking hold of regions that had former gold mines in them, as new residents will dig up floors in an attempt to find gold on their land. Other sets had details going to fierce bidding for gold mine leases from the federal government that will run into collisions with states and local governments, all of whom will be attempting to siphon off or control as much of the rising gold mine trades as they may. New sets are accumulating within subsets of the gold mania that seem to suggest that Southern California is going to experience a strange form of a gold rush as people will come to believe that there is gold in their hills, under their basement floor, or in their crawl space. Stand by again. And you want to know what that nonsense was? Hi, we are from TPDTPD's research. This will only take 4 minutes to take a poll from you, and it'll be completely anonymous. Oh, it's one of those. I was getting hammered during the election, as I told you, prior to the election. Poll every night I come home, phone ringing off the hook. Another poll, at least 1 to 2 calls practically every night. And I said, how could these polls get all that data wrong? How could they have been so wrong on Trump? And I told you how they could. Because they're calling everybody they possibly can, and everybody's telling them we're going to vote for Trump. Throw that one away, make another call. Until they find someone who says, I'm a Republican, but I'm switching and I'm going to vote for Hillary. Bingo, that's who we want. Let's log that one. So they're calling everybody. Why in the hell am I getting a call right now after the elections? Leave me the F alone. Do you have any idea you're calling JSNIP for, who's exposing your fraud polls? You think I'm going to actually take that fraud poll, whatever it is? I know you're going to lie and twist, or I'll just completely waste my time because the information I give you for answers you're not going to like. Well, let's not add that to the polling data. Piss off and leave me alone. I'm in the middle of a webbot hit. Okay? Do not interrupt me in the middle of a webbot hit. Thank you very much. So yeah, their gold rush is people will come to believe that there's gold in their hills, under their basement floor, or in their crawl space. The data sets are now supporting the idea that for a valid reason, some homeowners will understand that their houses were built on old gold mine land. There will be a spark that will incite a real mania as people will be busting up their houses seeking gold in the ground below. The data sets are describing whole subdivisions where roads are destroyed, houses hold like cheese, houses destroyed, and many other sets going to the idea of a mania run amok. Gold references outside of the smuggling sets, another paragraph, one little sentence. Gold references outside of the smuggling sets are also going to generate many stories across the internet. Many of the sets for gold rush mentality gained their most growth from January 2017, January 2017 onward. I'm sorry, someone tell me again when this little damn issue started? And then right after it, Orville, gold stories, gold fever, gold rush, giant sluice box, they're going to take the gold. They found, this is one of those things where the webbot is given some timing. The timing seems to be correct, but not all of this. Now there's, again, I haven't heard any stories of people tearing their houses down or tearing up the roads in their development because it used to be an old miner's town or, mining area, and gold is something that they want bad. I'll be honest, when I expect to hear those stories is when I'm already out here telling you and it'll be past tense at that point. Oh, by the way, silver is $100, $150, $200 today. Gold is $3,000, $4,000 today. Yada, yada, yada. That's around the time I expect to hear some of these quote unquote absurd stories. And I'm reading the comments. I read some of the comments in my videos. I reply sometimes. Again, I get hundreds of comments every single day because there's still people watching videos from yesterday and the day before and the day before that. So I've got literally hundreds and hundreds of comments of people on YouTube. When I have a little free time, I'll try to browse through, make some comments, reply, what have you. And boy, oh boy, for whatever reason, some of the shills, not a lot, just a few more, have come out. I've got the spelling police, grammar police, pronunciation police, and a new one I saw today. Looking through the comments, a brand new one I never expected I would ever see, but I did. Kind of threw me off guard. You wore that shirt 3 days ago, police. Listen, some of you people, those ones I just identified, step into my office. Why, JSNIP for? Because you're effing fired. That's why. And I got one guy, the videos of the last 2 days or so, this not real useful, not a whole lot of good news, like breaking news or something, not good, just average stories, whatever. Okay, I get it. But Realist News is kind of like news provider, if you will. I find these stories I want to talk about, read you articles, etc. Sometimes I give you a lot of commentary. Sometimes I don't give you as much. But I'm doing nowadays 3 videos a day. And prior to about December of last year or so, I was doing around 2 a day. Understanding I need to do a lot more because there's so much more information going on. That doesn't mean you're going to get a phenomenal breaking news. This is super good story. Fantastic job, Jason Ipfor. Every day. I'm doing 3 videos a day. Give me a freaking break. The haters will hate. The trolls will troll. Again, grammar police, spell check police, pronunciation police, and a brand new one I never thought was even freaking possible. I would have lost the biggest bet of my life if I had to come up with an additional police thing. You wore that shirt 3 days ago. When's the last time I wore this red shirt? Mr. Smarty Pants. And then you got people in there, that's crazy. You're not going to see $200. You're not even going to see $200 gold, Jay. That's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous when currencies are going to be racing to the bottom, devalue. That one devalues, we devalue. Another one devalues. We got to fight that. Export. We got to keep our exports going. Meanwhile, our president is fighting tooth and nail against Congress. He's supposed to give a speech tonight at 8 o'clock. I kind of want to see that, see how that goes. We've got the freaking debt ceiling thing coming up. March 15th approximately, which I've heard it's by the end of the month that it really matters, but nonetheless, it's coming up. And he may not get the support of Congress. He may. We may kick that can again beyond all possible belief. We're going to kick it again, so to speak. But again, a lot of people, as in Congress members and whatnot, don't like him and want every excuse in the world to make that man fail. More than probably, I think, from what I can even come up with, any other president. So if they don't do a debt ceiling deal with Mr. Trump, and he wants to spend, I think, another 50, we need to increase the military budget, defense budget, $54 billion. That's what he's asking for. And he said, and I heard the radio quote this morning on the way to work, and it could be higher than that. Could be a bit higher than what I've asked for, he said. Is it not amazing? I don't think so, to be honest with you, but maybe some of you may think so. We can see this stuff coming from miles away. And I remember telling you a few times, Obama came out, we're going to cut the defense spending, we're going to cut this spending, we're going to cut that spending. And then here he is, as I showed you, stole it from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, $100-something billion, stole it from their profits, changed legislation, changed the definition of an agreement that was already made, so they can funnel money into this Obamacare subsidy bullcrap. No one was trying to get rid of him, Barack Obama, for that. I mean, that was insane. But even so, I said then, I don't care what Barack has said, that military budget, that the military-industrial complex will not ever, read my lips, will never have budget cuts. Not going to happen. The military-industrial complex will never accept that. It won't happen. And by chance, we got a president now who is super duper gung-ho about the military. We got to make our military strong again. We got to build them back up. We're weak, we're weaker than we were, whatever. We need to be strong again. We need more military equipment. So we want to raise that $54 billion, but could be more. And I'm here to tell you it most likely will be. Military-industrial complex does not get budget cuts. Sorry about that. And that's exactly what's happening, even under Trump. And he wants to cut taxes and all these other great things to bring businesses back. However, when you start cutting taxes, that's a revenue you've already had. So everyone who was paying in whatever tax they were paying, it now gets cut. With the only difference is that now old businesses may come back, big ones, come back and bring jobs and all that. But is it enough to offset what we've been collecting on corporate taxes, the government, versus what they're about to collect if he can get past this tax cut stuff? Some people are saying you can forget the tax thing. It's not happening. But again, have the talking head said that about a whole lot of other things, and they are wrong and have been wrong each and every time. So I'm not going to hold that with a grain of salt. He's going to try. But anyways, whenever I see something like this, the Webbot, I have to come out here and do a video. Have to. Mandatory. Why? Because there's not a chance in hell the Webbot knew there would be an Oroville Dam overflow that would lead to a new gold rush in California and all that. I mean, get real. Well, people aren't, everybody's not psychic. It's not possible. It's a working theory Cliff High has. He may be wrong. He might be wrong on how it works, but it freaking works. Not all the time, as I said. But when it does work, I'm here to shove it in your face because this is fascinating. Anyways, end the video. Take care.